Most people play DMC5 similar to this when they're starting out. Mash attack, hack away at the air a few times until they start understanding how the combat works. Then they start using lock-on to make their attacks more precise, and use moves that need lock-on input. The most prominent moves are Nero's Streak and Dante's Tigers, the gap-closing moves. If they decide to learn more about the game, they start dipping their toes into air combos, maybe weapon switching. Maybe they see a jump cancelling tutorial and try to incorporate that into their playstyle. From that point onwards, it becomes pretty clear what the optimum way to play is. Stay in the air, where the enemies cannot hit you. Do a big air combo until the enemy is dead, or you drop it. Rinse and repeat.
Time for a warm-up.
What you see now is me playing on Dante Must Die difficulty, the game's hardest, aside from the one-hit kill challenge modes. And despite how technically impressive it may seem, it still uses the same tactic as an intermediate player uses. Juggle, kill, repeat. That tactic works for most of the game's encounters, only being broken by enemies who are hard or impossible to juggle, at which point you look at your hard-hitting single-target attacks to dispatch of those foes in a timely manner. So we have light and fast attacks and hard-hitting heavy attacks, but how about large area of effect attacks? How useful are they? Unfortunately, not very. Encounters with significant number of enemies are few and far between, and even those that are in the game can often be tackled with the single-target juggle approach. That, in and of itself, is no problem. Plenty of good action games focus on a limited number of enemies and are specifically designed for that kind of play. Devil May Cry 5, though, has plenty of large, sweeping attacks that are good for dealing with crowds. Just look at Nero's Exceed Streak for a move, Dante's Cavaliere for an entire weapon focused on dealing with crowds, and the worst offender, V, a character whose attacks absolutely thrive against many enemies in the game, or they just aren't there. This situation has led to many, myself included, to say things such as the Exceed mechanic is useless outside of a damage boost, or Cavaliere is only good for one attack, referring of course to the air dash move Redline. And, worst of all, dismissing V, one of the three main characters, entirely. Those points were all positions I held myself. Until... Legendary Dark Knight. The game's Horde mode completely flips the combat on its head. All the core mechanics are still there, and as valid as ever. Lifting a demon and juggling him to death is still very much a possibility. The enemies don't suddenly gain anti-air capabilities. That said, once you finish killing the enemy, you must do that 50 more times. That's just not reasonable, and it's time to adapt. Suddenly, I have found myself utilizing moves I boldly proclaim as useless regularly, alternating between the safety of airplay and the risky yet impactful ground moves. Nero's Exceed system went from just a quick damage boost to something I've come to rely on for the utility and increase in area of effect moves. Dante's Cavaliere ground attacks are now a mainstay in my rotation of moves, controlling overwhelming crowds with its large, sweeping attacks. That, coupled with Cerberus' electric area of effect attacks, gives Dante a whole new gameplay dynamic, and I absolutely love it. The greatest winner though is V. His attacks pretty much all have large area of effects, and his damage is high, but steady. Also, you cannot rely on the cheap tactic of reading your book to gain your meter and let your pets do all the work, lest you get overwhelmed. Now, you must cleverly utilize your movement options to the best of your ability. Maximize your damage by inputting the correct moves instead of sitting back with the same free poems all the time, as your pets auto attack everything into oblivion. Defensive play also changes drastically, since you can no longer rely on spotting all the telegraphed attacks at all times. Knowing how and when to leverage invincibility frames, mobility attacks, and actions for better precision or armor granting skills becomes fundamental and raises the skill ceiling beyond just being able to get those fast inputs for a stylish combo. LDK is the one experience that truly pushes the combat to be more than the sum of its parts, that pushes you to fully explore the movesets of each character to overcome brutal yet rewarding fights. There is just one problem. LDK is not officially out. I mean, it is, but only for special editions of the game, sold on the new consoles. While it is understandable how Xbox One and PlayStation 4 would struggle to support such a mode, the omission of LDK on PC, the advanced gameplay community's favorite platform, is a glaring blemish on the game and needlessly stain the relationship between publisher and the most passionate fans. This brings me to the final highlight of this video. The game footage you've been seeing has all been recorded on PC. While LDK has not been officially made available to us, the incredible modding community has been hard at work to provide us with this and many other fantastic additions. The Hitchhiker and Dr. Penguin in special deserve commendation, as their work on Legendary Dark Knights mod was nothing short of outstanding. And for those who are afraid their PCs are too underpowered to run this, you can tweak the enemy amounts to values that are more stable in your system. That said, because of the modder's incredible work in optimization, even my 8-year-old FX8350 computer was able to run it. And this brings us to the end of the essay, but not the end of the video. This is the part where I ask for your support. But before that, I want to thank everyone for the overwhelming positivity. I have been uploading almost daily lately, and working on the channel almost full time. That was possible because a break I'm taking from work, and that break is coming to an end. The biggest time bottleneck is editing, and with the increasing productivity an upgrade would give me, I'd be able to keep comparable levels of regularity, as well as more frequent and better live streams for you guys. If you want to support the channel, I've set up a Patreon that offers benefits ranging from anticipated viewing of my videos to one-on-one gameplay coaching. I'm also working to set up those same benefits here on YouTube, so you don't have to go to an external platform. That said, all the content is gonna be 100% available here in the channel for everyone else to see. If you do not want to or cannot support the channel financially, I understand completely, and I fully appreciate every comment and every like. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and hope you enjoyed the other content I've made so far, and that is still yet to come. I have been Smoke. See you soon.